Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and we have now reached the end of the decade. 2020 is next year, which will bring the next generation of consoles and a new start to gaming. In the last 10 years, many great games have came out which will go down in history for many more decades and will live on in gaming history as some of the best games ever created. They don't need to always look realistic or have a really interesting story to be able to make millions happy around the world. So today, in this video, I will be doing a top 10 list of the best games of the decade. They don't need to be my personal favourites or a game I've ever even played, but in my opinion the best games are the games which will live on for many more years further into 2020 and will still be talked about 10 years from now. Number 10. Sims 4. The Sims 4 is the fourth and only Sims game to come out this decade, with Sims 3 coming out in June 2009. The game came out in September 2014, first in North America on the 2nd, and most other locations will release before the 6th. The game was similar to other Sims games that have came out, but Sims 4 was different than others due to the popularity it reached and the whole new Sims fan base that started loving the Sims due to this game. Like other Sims games, it is a simulation game of life, and at the beginning of the game you create a sim, and that sim then lives in a town. Like real life, the sim gets a job, meets people, can get married and have pets. This game is one of the most sold Sims games with 10 million sales, and the game has been one of the most recorded games on YouTube, with it still being super popular. The success of this game has made EA a lot of money with the many overpriced, in my opinion, DLCs. I can complain about how expensive the DLCs are in this game, but it is making EA a lot of money. In February, EA announced The Sims 4 had surpassed $1 billion in lifetime revenue in 5 years, and the game will most likely get a new game coming out in the next few years due to its massive success. Number 9. Forza Horizon 4. I know at the beginning I said I wouldn't mention my personal favourites, but I have to mention Forza Horizon 4. I was contemplating putting Forza Horizon 3 here because of the amount of hours I've spent on that game, but Forza 4 beats it due to it having the best launch sales in the series, incredible graphics inside an open world game, and the realism of all 450 cars in the game. I remember watching it being announced when watching the Xbox E3 conference in 2018. Forza Horizon 4! The game has done extremely well, winning 13 awards, including the Best Sports/Racing Game at the Game Awards in 2018 and the Best British Game in the British Academy Game Awards in 2019. Number 8. Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey is an amazing Nintendo game, and in my opinion one of the best 3D Mario games to come out. This game has a great story, good graphics and nice replay value. It is the first open world Mario game since Mario Sunshine, which was released in 2002, so that's a 15-year break from the Super Mario open world games. This game includes a vocal theme song, Jump Up Superstar, it's time to jump up in the air, which is different from other games. It has also won multiple awards, including the Best Console Game at the Game Critics Award and the Best Action Game at Gamescom. This game will be definitely still played many years in the future, like a game like Super Mario 64 from 1996, which is similar to Mario Odyssey. Number 7. Super Mario Maker. This is another Mario game on the list, and a game which is a new genre. On Wikipedia, its genre is platform and level editor, but only some of it is a platform game, and level editor is also, according to Wikipedia, a software, and Super Mario Maker is definitely a game. So this game really has no genre, or a new genre should be created just for the game. This game is packed with things to do, and the amount of fun levels that can be created is around 10 to the 12,431, or a Marioplex is the one map pack called this number in this video, Super Mario Maker, Bigger Than the Universe. Nintendo reported that 2 million Mario Maker levels have already been created in the new Mario Maker, which only came out in June, which is crazy. This game has no end and is like an endless 2D Mario game. This game has no end and is like an endless 2D Mario game, just if you want to play the levels. But also in the game you can create the levels yourself. Others can play those, which is incredibly fun to do with friends and family. You can create hard or easy levels that anyone else in the world can play, and the levels can get as hard as possible, but if you want to upload them for anyone, you have to beat the level first, which I think is a great idea. This game is extremely fun and thousands bought a Wii U just to play Mario Maker, which is a rare thing to happen to a console and brought attention slightly back to the failed Wii U in its later life. I remember back in 2015 I really wanted to play this game, and when I got a Nintendo Switch in 2017, the game I and many others wanted was a port of the game to Nintendo Switch, which even though it was well overdue, everyone was still excited about when it was announced in the February 2019 Nintendo Direct and released in June 2019. This game has already got around 4 million sales as of the end of September and is the number 10 best-selling game and the second game in the top 10 most sold Switch games list, which was released in 2019. Number 6. PUBG. This is the first game on the list which I haven't actually played before, apart from playing for about 30 minutes on the console version. This game heavily grew the Battle Royale genre, which then led to the giant success of Fortnite a few months later, which I will talk about later on in the list. The Battle Royale genre is now a massively rising genre, but PUBG really started and began the growth of it. The concept of the genre is a solo player or a team of 3 to 5 players play a match of the game where the goal is to eliminate other opponents to be the last player standing or the last team standing. All players start with minimal equipment, giving no player an advantage over the other. The player or players then have to find equipment like weapons and healables in different locations on the map, normally in buildings in ghost towns. With these weapons you eliminate the other opponents who drop what they have when they are eliminated. It is not possible to know where other people are on the map, so to find people you have to walk or run around the map. To quicken up matches, usually there is something that is pushing the players closer together, like in Fortnite there is a storm which gradually hurts the player when in it. Battle Royale games are often free as well, after Fortnite was free when released in summer 2017. PUBG is one of the best-selling video games of all time with 50 million overall sales. This genre is still big in 2019 and will probably still be big into 2020, and this is because of PUBG. Number 5. Overwatch. Another game I have never actually played, but I do want to at some point. People are always going on about this game, and it has garnered a big fan base since its release and brought massive success to Blizzard Entertainment, the developers and publishers of the game. At the beginning of November, it was announced the long-awaited sequel of the game would be coming out soon, and people are saying that the game is dying due to the growth in free-to-play games recently, but the game is still growing and has inspired games like Paladins, a free-to-play game like Overwatch. I could probably find someone who's really into the game to do this for me, because to be honest I don't know much about the game, but I have been planning on getting into it for a long time now and might get into it in the new year, so maybe I will talk about it more then. Number 4. Rocket League. Rocket League is a sports game released in July 2015 for PlayStation and Windows, later being released on Xbox and Nintendo Switch, the latter being released in 2017. This game is a game I can always go back to and never get bored of. To briefly describe it, it is a game of football, but to kick the ball around you use a rocket-powered car. I know, it doesn't take long to explain. According to the game's before undiscovered developers, the game grew bigger than they could imagine. Its predecessor, supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars, was a similar game which was released in 2008, which did well but not nearly as well as Rocket League, a much shorter game name which could have made it bigger than the long name of its fairly unknown predecessor. This game is a fun game which you have to play to realise, and it is so big and so deserving of this spot because of how different the game is compared to other games. Number 3. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is an incredibly popular game which was extremely popular in the summer of 2016. The game is meant to be played outside, and it uses AR technology to virtually place a Pokemon in your location where you can catch it by throwing a Pokeball. When this game came out in early July 2016, it became the most downloaded app on the App Store of any app in the first week of the game's release and brought a whole new generation to the world of Pokemon. This game will most likely still be talked about many years from now because of its very sudden success back in 2016. Although this game died very quickly after release and turned into a game that was not really played, this game's popularity was big and heavily inspired the game Minecraft Earth, which was released in October. Number 2. Fortnite. This list had to include Fortnite due to how massive this game was. I can already hear Jamie in the comments telling me how much I love Fortnite despite him not being me, so I don't know how he can know if I like Fortnite or not. This game grew massively in 2018 and maybe the beginning of 2019. Even though the game is not as big as it once was, the player base is still fairly big and a group of people still play. The game is played mostly by 6 to 12-year-olds, and like I explained earlier, is another game in the Battle Royale genre and made the genre bigger with younger audiences due to the game being not as violent as other shooter games. Regardless, this game still brought up the suggestion that the game is not suitable for children because of the violence in the game. This game had to be mentioned seeing as the newest generation grew up on this game, and for some it is the first game that they ever played. Number 1. Minecraft. And finally Minecraft. I have been writing this for the past 3 hours. I'm glad that I have finally reached number 1. Minecraft was released in 2011 and has grown to become the most sold game ever, beating Tetris this year. The game, if you didn't know, is a sandbox game made up of blocks where there isn't really an aim or end to the game apart from defeating the Ender Dragon, but you're not in any way forced to do that. In the survival game mode, you spawn into a randomly generated world made up of blocks and you have to get materials to survive. Even though that is what you were meant to do in the game, you don't have to, and you can basically do whatever you like. You can also play in creative where you have the ability to fly and build whatever you like. The game is believed to be so big because it is similar to Lego, the real-life toy which has been popular for 80 years, and Minecraft is what Lego was to the older generations. It has stayed so popular because there is no end to the game. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this decade, please like the video, and let's hope that the next 10 years will just be as good as the last 10 years. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!